So, let's get this show on the road. I think I didn't finish the ending. No. That's what we're doing today. We're finishing the good ending. We just got laid, though. And then she came looking for us. What are you doing here? Taking a walk? At this time? What? I can't? No, it's just strange. I leaned against the tree and pondered. He's definitely here for a reason. Besides, we barely made it here. You can't reach this lake on a walk. And even at night, Slavia, sleeping dozen steps away, was in clear view. And? What? Were you going to say anything? Am I supposed to? That's up to you. I don't get what you're saying. Okay. Been here for a while? Well, not that long. How long is that? Not long, Lena snapped. All right. Is that all? I don't know. We stood silently a while longer. You should probably get back. Slavia will get cold. Good point. She was ill the other day. She'd get that again. She went swimming and now is out in the cold. So you saw? It was hard not to see. Oh, if you think that. Well, what am I supposed to think, huh? Seems clear as day. Indeed. I guess. So you're not gonna say anything? What is there to say? After your show at Square today, words don't seem to be needed. There was no show, we just... It's like I'm justifying myself to her. That's none of your business anyway. Exactly. It's your business. Just be careful. Watch out. What are you talking about? If everything comes to you so easily, you probably won't value it much. That's an interesting statement. If everything comes to you so easily, you probably won't value it much. I mean, is he talking about getting laid? That it came easy for him? And she was equally easy in her ending, I suppose. I'll get in on tap says probably. Then I would disagree with that statement. I would disagree. Getting laid, I don't value it higher because it takes more work. I value it higher if it doesn't take more work. Like the other way around. Maybe about a relationship. I mean, yeah, that's a good point, probably. Colgate in on tap says. I'm at the same... Well, pointed out it's subjective, right? Yeah. It's like she wouldn't value it as much and therefore she assumed that he doesn't. Like for me personally, I would value it more if a relationship came easy than it came hard. Like relationships are hard and there are annoying stuff happens within them, you know? You have to make an effort to make a good relationship, but the more easier it comes to you, the more I value it, I would probably say. But then again, we have, like, if we're talking about like other stuff, like relationships, like if we look at like a materialistic worldview, we look at valuing like stuff. But I don't think that has to do with stuff coming easy to you. Like I devalue stuff because it becomes normal for a person. Like For a person getting their first smartphone, that is kind of a big deal, and it's cool and everything. When you're on your 10th smartphone, you don't value it as much. You take it for granted, right? But I still wouldn't say that we value it less. Just that it's more normal. We're not as hyped about it. I don't know. Oh, you should value it. I don't get it. Well, like Slavia, bam! This time it's magical. And then you do it another time. Oh, she is talking about sex. And then another, and then you get tired of it. Well, sure, that's teenage way of thinking. That's not how it works at all. Practice makes perfect. It just gets better and better over time. But they don't know. I mean, teenagers in the 80s, what do they know? The Lion King? Yeah, I paused. I don't even know if they had Disney in Soviet. Probably not. Then I paused. That's what I'm saying. You need to cherish what you have, even if you don't put much effort into getting it. That is a good idea. Oh, like taking the time to cherish what you have, being grateful, being happy, like taking the time just to feel this is good stuff. And like, he is doing that though, so I don't know where she's coming from. If you think I'm treating this like a game, you're totally wrong. I don't think that, but it's possible. Besides, how about staying out of the things that are none of your business? I'm just giving you advice. I don't remember asking for it. I think you should pay more attention to what you're doing and planning to do so you don't feel any torturing regrets later on. Look, this is starting to sound like a threat. No, it really is. Well, maybe so, Anna said mysteriously. So you... No, not at all. Not now, to be precise. Wait, what? She added in a whisper. Lena turned and headed into the depths of the forest. What was that? I didn't stop her. It was almost like she was breaking the fourth wall there. Like we haven't made anything with her this round. It was almost like... When she was almost gone from sight, I noticed something in her hand, blinking in the moonlight. Strange girl. I sighed and returned to Slavia. The warmth of her body kept me from the cold of the night. I hope I was keeping Slavia warm as well. Thermodynamics. Yes, you are. Day 7. I woke up with the first rays of the sun because of the cold. Obviously, the sleeping bag was warm, and I hadn't had enough time to be covered with hoarfrost. Oh, hoarfrost. But it still was a novelty for me to spend the night in a forest. Colgate in on tap says, I think it was a knife. I do too. It kind of feels like she had the... Like from the bad ending. She had a knife, perhaps. Very strange. Now, if you haven't slept under the stars sometime, I recommend it. It's kind of cool. I've actually done that in a sleeping bag with a girl, well, a woman, she was a woman, under the stars. We even threw out a mattress in New Zealand. Super starry. It was a good time. Carefully, in order to avoid waking Slavia up, I got out of the bag. The fresh morning air finally dispelled my drowsiness, and the serenity of last night swept over me. I guess it was the happiest moment of my life. Sure, if you say so. Intimacy, tenderness, love, passion, all of those emotions interlinked in me during those short hours. I looked at Slava and she was beautiful. This is a fantasy game. I don't see this happening. Her face was set in a motionless expression of absolute tranquility and peacefulness. I guess that's how angels sleep. Oh, angels. Right. So, what's his age again? Like here, it's probably 11, 12. As I had no wish to wake her up, I just sat down by her side and observed the way the morning began. Well, that's unfair of me. Like a lot of like rom-coms behave like this for adults as well. Yeah. That's what the author has told us. The story has told us that he is 25-ish in a 17-ish year old body. He's not acting like it right now. Like he has this illusion of like where was it? Like this here. Maybe that is the way. Maybe it's too long ago. I was a teenager, so I don't remember all the hormones and stuff. I don't know. For me, it was more anxiety filled, I suppose. Then again, I didn't have a robot following my every whim. As I had no wish to wake her up, I just sat down by her side and observed the way the morning began. Nature, the fresh dew, light wind, dancing tree leaves, and patches of sunlight on the water used to be alien to me yesterday. The concrete jungles of a huge city were the only forest I'd known before. And if someone had told me that I could just sit and enjoy things like that, despite the night cool and annoying mosquitoes, without computer or internet, I definitely would not have believed them. Good morning, said Slavia. I looked at her. Morning, did you sleep well? Better than ever, she said. Me too. She reached out and kissed me. The kiss seemed everlasting. Here we go. And I just dissolved in her. Oh. So, did they brush their teeth last night? Have they brushed their teeth this morning? Or are they having morning breath? I'm just wondering. Having breakfast would be great. Flavia finally spoke, letting go of me. Yeah, I guess so. Do you know what time it is now? No, but I think it's still early. I hope the canteen is already open. I am so hungry. Me too. We got our things and walked to the cab, holding hands. The canteen was indeed open, and strangely, we were its first visitors. It wasn't a surprise that breakfast wasn't all that luxurious: oatmeal, 2 eggs, dry bread, and watery tea. You know, I never liked the local food. Me neither, to tell you the truth, Slavia laughed. There is no choice. And it is quite good on an empty stomach. That's right. Unlike me, she was eating carefully. And I was dropping porridge on my shirt and spilling tea over myself as usual. You always eat like this. Anything wrong with that? I asked with a full mouth. She just laughed. Oh, no, not always, but it happens when I'm really hungry. Of course, I can be more civilized. Well, I can try at least. No worries, it's nothing. Soon we finished breakfast and went to the exit. No sooner had I noticed that we were still the only people in the canteen than Olga appearing on the threshold. Oh, it's you. Well, I won't ask where you spent tonight. So is it? Camp leader was obviously embarrassed. Good morning to you too, Olga, Flavia said with a bright smile. Yes, morning, morning. Okay, just don't forget to pack your things. We won't. What does she mean? Some hike again? I asked Slavia when we left the canteen. No, today is the last day. Have you forgotten? The last day of what? The last day of the term. To say that her words struck me dumb was an understatement. How? Why? Why so surprised? Didn't you know? It was announced during the lineup. Yeah, exactly. We were at the lineup this time. But even at those lineups, which I attended, I was just sleeping on my feet. Oof! That was a cat rushing past. No. Now you know. Flavia smiled naturally. And what should I do? Her words stirred massive emotions inside of me. On one hand, I'll get out of this cursed camp at last. I might get some answers. On the other, I have just found something very important to me. Now I have to let it go? What do you mean? Oh, nothing. And when's the departure? In the evening, at 5 or 6 o'clock. Well, still a lot of time. Yes, but I have some things to do. I should find Shania. She might be worried since I was absent for the whole night. Oh well, worrying is so much like her. See you at lunch. Clara gave me a kiss on the cheek and ran away. I kept standing at the canteen's entrance. I had absolutely nothing to do, nothing to pack, so the only thing to do was to wander around the camp till evening and think. I would give anything to be able to empty my head for this 10 hours. A voice pulled me out of my trance. Hello, said Electronic, and stood before me, as merry as usual. You too, I replied, absent-minded. You know, the whole camp is talking about you. I guess I know why. So you did it already? He asked, giggling. Do you really think that concerns you? Well, no, I just... Thank you, quiet. Leaving him alone with his suspicions, I walked to the square. Why does he behave in a way that drives everyone mad? Although it's probably just me he maddens, and Jenny, I think. I was completely immersed in my thoughts, not looking around, and I didn't notice Miko until she bumped into me. Oh, sorry, I should be more careful. I was lost in thought and I didn't notice you. You know how it happens. Oh, and hi. I looked through her and kept walking. Oh, Simon, wait a second. What's up with Slavia? Tell me. It's so interesting. It seems that everyone in the whole camp except me knows about it. No, not that I'm curious, but since everything is also serious, saying that she is not curious is like denying a universal truth. Nothing special, I answered without turning back. Well, if you don't want to. I tried to isolate myself from the outside irritations, so Miko's words passed by. The square scenery was soon replaced by the beach. Luckily, the juvenile gem of the Soviet pop scene wasn't around. Took a place on the sand and started gazing at the river. This doesn't really look like a river to me. It looks more like a lake. Why on earth is the whole camp so interested in my relationship with Slav? It's gossip, dude. In my world, nobody would have said a word. Maybe not. Please, not out loud. At least you don't hear the things they say behind your back. For now, I was ready to endure gossip, just as long as I don't have to report to everyone about my private life. The sun was rising higher and higher, and I was nodding off. My eyes were already closed when I suddenly heard someone sitting down next to me. It was Elisa. Congratulations! Meaning, don't you know? Yeah, it doesn't take Einstein to work it out. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of this. Everyone here just has to mention it. Enough. What did you expect? It's out of the ordinary for the camp. I would even say it's exceptional. Out of the ordinary? They've only been there for a week, right? She laughed. And show up the camp leader just like that. Even Uliana couldn't manage it. Me neither, probably. I didn't know how to respond to that, or whether it was a compliment or mockery. You know, you're making too big a deal out of it. Oh, Colgate Inotab says some have been here for 2 weeks. I forgot about that, just it has only been 1 week for us. There was nothing unusual for me. Moreover, I don't understand why you have to poke your nose into my life. Don't you think it's just my personal business and nobody else's? Maybe so, maybe so, Elisa said mysteriously. We sat silently for a while. I wanted her to leave as soon as possible, but Elisa was watching the pioneers on the beach, and it didn't seem like she was planning to go anywhere. So, what are you gonna do next? What are you talking about? Today's the last day. Yeah, so what? Everyone will leave. So, Slavia will leave too. You will leave too, so you'll break up. I know that already, thank you. Obviously. And what do you think about that? What should I think? I can't stay here forever. Of course you can't. But what will you let her go just like that? No, I mean, what can I do, frankly speaking? I really had no idea what to do next. My head was a complete mess. I'll be able to get out of here. That was the most important thing for me during the last week. And now I have to answer a much more difficult question. How did summer romances end for common Soviet teenage years? And my romance was a summer one, for sure. They just went home and that was it. They can live 1,000 kilometers away from each other. In my case, in different worlds. It's not like one can come up with a decent solution for such a problem in a couple of hours. Like I know. It's up to you. It's up to you to decide. Elisa grinned and stood up and ran to the river. There was only about half an hour until lunch, so I slowly walked to the canteen. Pioneers hadn't managed to occupy all the free tables. So I was able to choose quite a good place, but to my regret, not my favorite one in the corner. I was just about to start eating when someone abruptly pulled out the chair at the table near me and took a seat. Hey there, how are you? It was Indiana, an extraordinarily polite version of her. I was fine until now, I sneered. Oh, come on, better tell me. What are you gonna do? Eat? I sighed. I'm not talking about that. The session's over. You and Slavia are gonna part. What's next? It's like my future is the priority issue for all the local residents. Hey, what really is the matter? Just curious. Curious about what? I don't ask what you're going to do tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, or in a month. Why do you have to get into someone else's life? I'm not getting into anything, Diana said, offended. I'm not really good at all that stuff. True enough, you're still a kid. So, you've got to explain, since you're the adult here. Adult here? What should I explain? So, are you going to stay in touch through letters, right? And then, you're going to go to this camp next summer together? Talking through letters? It sounds so well to me. And I don't mean the idea of paper sheets and envelopes. I mean the possibility of losing Slavia for a year, or probably even longer, or forever. So what? May I join you, said Slavia. I raised my eyes and saw Slavia standing near me with a food tray. Okay, it's time to go, said Juliana, and jumped and dashed off to the far corner of the canteen. It's nice of her. What were you talking about? You know her. What could we possibly be talking about? Flavia smiled. Take care of your business? Yep, now I'm completely free. I can help you pack your stuff. It's not like I've got much to pack. Well, then you can help me with my stuff, she says. Right, I'll help you with your stuff, all right. That was the perfect opportunity for a quiet talk with her. Although I had not a slightest idea of what I should talk about. Soon enough, we finished our meal and headed to Slavia's cabin. Everything in it was neat, unlike Olga's cabin. Oh, I'm not sure what I should start with. She took out her travel bag and started to rummage through the cabinet. Meanwhile, I sat on the bed, started to gather my thoughts. Do you have any plans for after the camp? What are you gonna do? Well, you know. She raised her eyes to mine and gave me a smile. I'll go back to school. Ah, yeah. And you? What about me? It's not like I'm really considering going to high school for a second time. Well, me too, I guess. High school? Although I don't really feel like going back to my city. Seriously speaking, even I felt like going back. I had nowhere to go anywhere. Why? Just because? Because there's nothing there to do. There's nothing to do there. Nothing at all. There's no one waiting for me there. But your parents. Yeah, my parents. Well, you know. They're not there now. Aren't they, though? But where are they, then? They're sort of working abroad. So you're one lucky guy, she smiled merrily. Why? They send you foreign stuff at all? No, I wouldn't call my situation lucky as such. Yeah. Well, anyway, don't be upset. She really looks like she does not understand what I'm saying. I'm not as upset about it, and it was true. Then what's up? Many things. For example, I was about to begin a vast outburst about my situation and my wish not to have to part with Slavia. Then the door was flung open with a bang and Shania entered. There you are. Yes, we're packing. I see. It's a good thing I didn't come here 10 minutes later, or I would have disturbed your packing. Slavia blushed and kept on stuffing her things inside the bag anxiously. What's up, heroic lover boy? That form of address gave me the creeps. What? Nothing? She stared at me intently for some time. Watch it. Now, more than just yourself depends on your choices. What's going on? Everybody's talking about choices now. I didn't reply, and with those words, Xenia left the cabin. What did she mean, says Slavia? That's what I was gonna ask. I think you can never know for sure, and yet, well, I wanted to talk to you about it myself. I was able to start, but then, about what? Slavia looked at me carefully. Just, today we're leaving, right? Right? And we will move back to our cities. Well, yeah. And when will I see you again? Slavia grew thoughtful. I don't know. I don't know either. But you could write me letters. She smiled, but her smile didn't bring me any peace of mind. Yes, of course. But you know, that's not the same. What is it then? Can I go with you? I decided to take a chance and speak plainly. And what will you do there? Slavia seemed to not be surprised, but a bit vexed. Studying my parents? And what will people say? I wasn't thinking about the opinions of other people. And to be honest, they didn't worry me much. Well, we can always find a way. What way? Well, let's think of something. Simeon, you're too young for this. In fact, I am not. So what? Maybe after some time. Much time do you need? A year, 2 years, 5? You say it as if, I don't know. She seemed confused. So everything that happened here was just a holiday romance? Started to get angry, no? No, of course not, just... Wasn't it, though? For her it was. What? I'm not ready to discuss it right now. Let's talk about it later. When later? We only have a couple of hours left until departure. Slavia said nothing and continued to pack her things. I'd expected almost any kind of reaction from her, but not this. In fact, she just pushed me away. Nice. Turns out she doesn't need to continue our relationship. So I'm not that important to her. You think it's only complicated for you? It seems to me that it's hard for you too, but for some reason, you don't think so. And what if I told you that I don't have a place to go back to? Since last Monday, there is no more life for me, and I have to start from scratch. I don't know. That doesn't sound very reasonable. And it shouldn't, but it's true. And then what? Please explain. I came to this camp by accident. Actually, I'm from another time, perhaps another world. From the beginning of the 21st century, and I'm older than I seem. I don't really know how I got here. Slavia stared at me, but said nothing. The moments dragged on endlessly. I waited for her to laugh at me, call me sick, or something even worse. Why are you telling me all of this? She finally asked, quietly. I want you to understand my situation, but it just sounds stupid. Of course, if I were you, I would react the same way. What do you expect from me? I don't know. I just felt that I needed to confess. I'm not saying that you're lying. I don't think you're crazy, but you have to understand. I can't just accept it. Yes, I understand. I just thought that it would help you to understand my situation and my motivations for my actions. It didn't, to be honest. I sighed in frustration. And my opinion hasn't changed. But it better be off. You need to pack your stuff, and you'll be late. Bye-bye. Let's talk later. I wasn't going to argue. If Slavia hasn't changed her mind after my confession, then it's pointless to press on right now. Oof. Getting dumped. That's rough, man. Distressed, I shuffled off to Olga's cabin. The camp leader stood at the doorstep and looked like she was waiting for me. Why are you so gloomy? Did something happen? No, nothing. Just came to pack my things. Oh, come on, let it out. You might feel better. Well, how do you think I can prove that I'm telling the truth to somebody who doesn't believe me? Are you absolutely sure that you're telling the truth? Absolutely. Then perhaps they might just need time to consider. Except there's no time left. Then I don't know. She shrugged her shoulders in dismay. Well, it's something at least. I tossed my winter clothing into a bag and headed to the bus stop. A couple of days ago, I'd seen the Icarus stand at the gate of the camp waiting for pioneers. I would have been the happiest person in this reality. But right now, I wasn't in the mood to rejoice. There was still plenty of time left until the bus departure time. I sat down on the curb and buried my head in hands. Why so sad? A familiar voice pulled me out of my thoughts. Just had a fight with Slavia? You could say that. And what's the reason? She doesn't believe that I'm an alien from the future, I smiled ironically. I wouldn't believe it either, Lena said seriously. If I were in your shoes, neither would I. It's not a big deal. You'll make up for it. Or quarrel. Yeah, but there's not much time left to... Left to what? To make the right choice. Wait, what choice are we talking about? What choices is he talking about? What is he gonna do now? She obviously dumped him, right? Did I misunderstand something? So his choice is get on the bus, see where the bus takes him. Then figure stuff out as he goes along. Maybe try to find his parents. Colgate in on themselves. What to say to Slavia. All right. Maybe the choice is not to say anything. Yeah, good point. After a while, the whole camp assembled together at the bus stop. Everyone here? began Olga. You're leaving our camp today, and I'd like to tell you something imparting. She was visibly nervous and desperately lost for words. I hope that you'll remember the time that you spent here for a lifetime and that you'll retain only pleasant memories about Sovianok. I also hope that you became at least a little bit better, managed to learn something, and found new friends. Just come back next year. Camp leader turned away. Oh, so probably some of these people have been here not only for 2 weeks, but they've probably been here like the year before and maybe even the year before that, right? The camp leader turned away. It seems like she was trying to hold back her tears. I didn't expect her to go so emotional, although her speech sounded like a complete nonsense to me, as usual. Of course, this is where I met Slavia, but now we're going through a tough time. And what will happen next is absolutely unclear. So I didn't care about whether I'll miss this place, and Olga or not. Unlikely. When the pioneers started to get on the bus, I pushed through the crowds to Slavia. Let's sit together. Okay, he said quietly, even though that I saw the shadow of a smile on her face. Oh? The bus flew across the expanses of my new world outside. Fields followed forests, and then calm rivers and highlands. I felt as familiar with all this, all this as if it were my own homeland, isn't it? Anyway, the surroundings were the least of my concerns now. I was trying hard to find the right words to start a conversation. We'd just been sitting here, probably for a couple of hours, but all attempts to strike up a conversation had ended with one-word answers. Forget about what I said before. I don't want to make excuses or say that it's not true. Just now, the most important thing to me is you. I understand. She looked at me carefully. Even if I sometimes act the wrong way and talk nonsense, regardless, the main thing for me now is to be with you, and it always will be. I understand that I acted too recklessly and planned stupid adventures, but we can try to make everything right together, you and me. Slavia was still gazing at me. Do you realize that it will be difficult, that you can't just run blindly into the dark? Because then there will be so many problems that we won't be able to solve. Yes, I understand that now. But for you, I'm prepared for anything. She didn't say a word, but just kissed me gently and put her head on my shoulders. It definitely meant yes. I don't want to bother her anymore. Let her sleep. The point is that Slavia finally understood me, understood what she means to me. She realized that I will do anything for her sake. Oh, she gets like a little puppy dog. Little love slave. Like this is they're not equally invested in this relationship. I've heard someone talk about that. Like there's a reacher and a grabber. He's a reacher and she's a grabber, right? I've heard that type of relationship, like if one person is head over heels about the other person and the other person is like, well, yeah, you're fine, you'll do. That doesn't seem like the good basis for our relationship. I don't know though. And even if I am overreacting or deciding too early, you are, she's ready to put me on the right path. The path that we'll walk together. Night started to claim its right and the boss settled down to sleep. At first I tried to fight it. Oh, it settled him to sleep. But is there any use in enduring and wasting my effort when the future had finally become crystal clear for me? My eyes shut just for a moment and we wake up in reality. Day ... Day 1, right? There are dreams that you don't want to wake up from. It's like one is floating down a warm river towards the place far beyond the horizon, blissfully watching the vain world hidden behind the clouds. The past is left behind, its echoes do not tear your soul. And the future is right here, you just have to reach out. It doesn't matter what is awaiting you there, the very process of immersing yourself in this fairy world of serenity and happiness itself is much more important. I've always believed that the universe was once in this state, and one day it will return to it again. Our life is just a blink of an eye, just a second in comparison to the universe, not even a second. The birth and death of stars is a minute to those. Galaxies are ours. Those of galaxies are ours. And even all of that, all put together, will not even be a day. And I'm too tired. I didn't follow along with these metaphors about the world. Nobody thinks how to live each specific second, so does it really matter what each drop in a stormy river running beyond the horizon of existence does? Alright, he's talking about reality, like trying to be looking at objective reality and that our life is meaningless, like existentialism seems. But that's like it's an inner world. There's an inner world and an outer world, right? Where the outer world doesn't have any intent or meaning or reason or stuff like that. But a person does, right? What does it really matter? Up to the person to decide, right? Oh, got a message. Gotta answer this. Here we go. I opened my eyes and stretched blissfully. I had no desire to stand up, as I felt like I was in perfect bliss, muffled in a blanket. After all, I don't have to go anywhere. It's usual, actually. And I don't have any plans, so why shouldn't I just sleep? I rolled over and stared at the old worn wallpaper covering the curved wall. I wonder how long ago last time they renovated this room was. And why does here have wallpapers instead of bare wood anyway? Vague warning bells began ringing somewhere deep in my mind. I threw the blanket away, jumped up and furiously began to look around. Yes, I was in my flat again. At first I was paralyzed. The shock was so strong that my brain was unable to process what was going on. I just stood and gazed on the screen of the monitor on the table opposite of me. I couldn't think. I even forgot to breathe. Finally, my mind began to clear. And that I got an answer here. All right, that was personal stuff ending up. So we'll finish this tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out and cheers. Bye bye.